Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball was obviously in development for quite some time. Initially, we were supposed to get that Gumball movie to follow up the cliffhanger that we had at the finale of The Amazing World of Gumball. Then that was going to lead into The Amazing World of Gumball, the series, and none of that ended up happening, and we got The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball instead. And about 11 months prior to this series premiering on Hulu, the episode titles for the first 26 episodes leaked online, and I think we all presumed at the time, whether we get 10 episodes in the first batch, 13 or 20 like we got, these would be the episodes we'd be seeing once this series premieres on Hulu. And now that the series is out and we've seen the first 20 episodes, a lot of these episodes just straight up did not happen or were not included in this batch of 20 episodes that we got. The cancellation, which was the big one at the time, episode 13, where everyone was like, this is going to dive into what happened with The Amazing World of Gumball, was not included in this initial batch of 20. The repression, the eagles, the trumpet, the speed run, the summoning, the survivalist, the homework, the scooter, and the proposal were all not included as well in this initial batch of 20 that we got. So you would have to think, okay, well, if these weren't in the initial 20 episodes that we got, they're going to have to be included in episodes 21 through 40, right? Like, that would make logical sense. If they weren't included here, they will be included in the next batch of episodes that we get, and that doesn't seem to be the case. According to the Amazing World of Gumball's Wikipedia page, we actually have the titles for the next 20 episodes of the season. None of these episodes that I just listed off to you guys are included in the next batch of 20 episodes that we're going to be getting. Real quick, just to run down these episode titles, we are getting the Squad, the Streak, the Ride, the Fad, the Showdown, the Mood, the Charge, the Fizz, the Lucky, the Dab, the Prize, the Brother, the Junk, the Snuggle, the Timid, the Width, the Macabre, the Hangover, the Derby, and episode 40 being the finale of season 1 is titled The Rewrite, and we'll get back to that one in a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, none of those episodes that I listed off as a part of that initial 26 episode leak are included in the next batch of 20 episodes that we'll be getting that will comprise of season 1. So it would seem like all of those episodes were canceled, or maybe they were reworked and retitled into one of these episodes that we are getting during season 1. But it's really interesting to get a little peek behind the curtain to see that, yeah, a lot of these episodes are straight up not happening. The biggation one to me is the cancellation, as that and the portrait were going to be episodes 12 and 13, and everyone had those two circled on this leak list. Everyone, including myself, was saying, hey, the portrait's going to be about Banana Barber and her ability to see into the future, and that's going to lead into the cancellation, and that's when they're going to touch on the void, and obviously that did not happen. The portrait was a part of this initial 20 episode release that we got, and the portrait was just about Nicole Watterson wanting to get a family picture, a family portrait with her family. And while that was one of the better episodes in this first batch that we got, it had nothing to do with the void. It had nothing to do with Banana Barbara. So it would seem like the cancellation maybe would have had something to do with that, but chances are it might have also been like the portrait, in that the title would seemingly make you infer that it had something to do with the void, but in reality it had absolutely nothing to do with it. Interestingly enough, about a month or two ago, I covered an interview that Ben Bocluet did. I'll leave a card above to that video if you haven't seen it. The interviewer actually asked Ben about the cancellation, and he said, I don't recall making an episode titled The Cancellation. It must have been canceled. And I didn't touch on that at the time because I thought, okay, he's just, being coy. He's just playing around, joking, saying, oh, the cancellation, what are you talking about? I don't know anything about that. How do you know about that episode title? It's not something we ever did. Maybe it was canceled. I thought he was just joking, but it would seem like he was being dead serious, because the cancellation is straight up not a part of these 40 episodes in the first season of The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. So who knows what happened behind the scenes? Maybe this was a very early list of episodes, but I would imagine you'd probably come up with the ideas for an episode first and flesh those out before actually titling the episode. So who knows what happened here? It's a rather interesting thing that we'll keep an eye on as this series progresses, because maybe we'll see these episodes in a season 2 or season 3 and they just needed to be reworked and made into something different and weren't ready for season 1. Who knows what the case is there? But the last thing I want to touch on in this video is the title of the finale of season 1 of The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, and that is The Rewrite. In that interview I referenced before, Ben had stated that the finale of The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball would pick up where the finale of The Amazing World of Gumball left off, meaning that the prior episodes to this, episodes 1 through 39, would not not touch on the topic of the Void, but episode 40, the finale of the season, would wrap things up in a nice way and put a little bow on it. I've discussed in other videos how I don't think that's the greatest way to handle this, and it seems like this first season is going to probably lead into a bigger narrative that's going to be told in the Amazing World of Gumball movie, whatever form that ends up taking, who knows. But the rewrite is an interesting title because we can infer from it what happened after the finale of season 6 of the Amazing World of Gumball. It would seem, at least from the title, that something happened, that the entirety of Elmore was rewritten, and we are seeing the rewritten version of this world within the wonderfully weird world of Gumball. How is this going to transpire? Who knows? How is this going to lead into a bigger narrative with the Void? We'll have to wait and see, because as I said before, Ben is saving that narrative for the movie that we're supposedly still getting, even though it's been over 6 years and we don't even have official confirmation anymore that this thing is still happening. But it would seem that something happened post season 6 finale of Gumball, that this world got rewritten in some way, or maybe the Void returns now. Maybe it returns and takes over Elmore in this finale, the rewrite. And maybe the rewrite is not referencing what happened after season 6. Maybe it's referencing what's going to happen after this episode. Maybe after this episode, the Void completely consumes Elmore, and Gumball essentially has to rewrite this world to save it. Who knows? We're gonna have to wait and see what happens here with the finale for the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, and how exactly that ties into either a second season of this show or the movie that's supposedly still coming. Unfortunately, it seems like we're probably gonna have to wait until 2026 to see this second batch of episodes, which is rather unfortunate since we've been waiting already 6 years to see what happened with the Void, and it looks like we're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer and go into a 7th year of waiting, because I highly doubt that Hulu is going to drop episodes 21 through 40 this year. I mean, I'd be stunned. Maybe they come out and say October, November, you're getting, episodes 21 through 40, and then it's going to wrap up and we're going to have this big movie that's going to happen in 2027. Who knows? But I would have to imagine what's going to happen here is we're going to get some announcement regarding the second batch of episodes either in the first or second quarter of 2026, and it's probably going to release either at the tail end of the second quarter or maybe in the third quarter of the year, similar to how we saw the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball premiere this past July. But we're gonna have to wait and see till then. But I do think it's rather interesting to see a little bit of a peek behind the curtain that a lot of episodes seemingly got canceled for the first season of the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. Who knows if any of these will ever see the light of day? Maybe we'll see them in a second or even third season of this show, or maybe they'll be adapted into another series if this ends up being a one-season show that leads into a movie and then another series within the realm of Gumball. Who knows? Because Ben's kind of hinted at the fact that Cartoon Network has a lot of Gumball coming down the pipeline that he's been commissioned to work on, but we'll have to wait and see on all of that. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that a lot of the initial episodes that were leaked for the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball ended up getting canceled and left on the cutting board? Do you guys think these episodes will be adapted into a future season of the show, or do you think they're never going to happen and we're never going to get to see what the cancellation was going to be about? Lastly, what do you think about the rewrite? What do you think is going to happen regarding the Void in that finale? And do you think it's going to lead into a bigger narrative in the movie? Or do you think it's just going to touch on what happened post season 6, in between season 6 of Gumball and season 1 of this new show? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.